Good evening and welcome to Talking Technical, another week and some other requests. And it's nice chatting to you. And I see I do get a lot of requests of people now suddenly looking at the local market and the international market. So it looks like a few weeks ago it was just international shares, but suddenly some people are starting to browse and wonder if the local market is not offering some value. The very interesting fact is that I can see that the rand is starting to weaken, and it's because the commodity cycle is starting to turn around. The miners should still do well because the rand will help them, but it looks like the commodity cycle suddenly is showing tiny little cracks of maybe it just went on for too long. The first request that we had was Rebosis A, and this viewer asked, listen, is there any chance for this share to ever get back to 3 rand? So it just shows you that this viewer is almost more than desperate to see if there's a turnaround. The problem is that, as we know, that South Africa, although everybody is saying that property is offering value and it's wonderful and everything goes well, there's a little thing that worries the investors, and that is Eskom. While Eskom is under pressure, inflows in the economy will struggle. People are uncertain, they're nervous, and that's why some of these, and I think a lot of other commercial property companies will be under pressure. And until we can see that sort of resolve, you can see that some of these shares will remain under pressure for quite a while. And of course, you know that our economy is really struggling. But let's have a look at Rebosis A. And if I look at it, first of all, there's the trend line. I'm going to put it there. Then you will somewhere see that it is all the way to the downside. It's negative. It shows you that the trend is clearly to the downside, and things are awkwardly wrong here. And that the investors, every time that there's a little bit of a blip, it just gets a plain sell-off. But on the other hand, if we combine this line here at the bottom here, we can say that there's slowly but surely forming a falling wedge. And as we know, a falling wedge is usually a reversal formation. But when is it a formation that will turn around? Only when you can see that this resistance line turn into a support. And unfortunately, if I project that value, it will only be above 1 rand 20. So for the viewer, you say, will it ever get above 3 rand? That we will never know, because there's the high. At one point in time in 2022, early 2022, it was 3 rand 60. And what probably happened was that the viewer maybe fell into this old same trap. When a share goes up, everything looks rosy. Everybody believes that the share will never come down. And as you see this waterfall, you see this lampole formation, suddenly you see this waterfall formation all the way to the downside. So I hope it didn't buy, or the lady didn't buy on a rumor, because at the moment the trend is down. But let's have a look. Above 120, it can easily break to the upside. Where's my target? My target will be around 1 rand 74. If you do buy above 120, you can maybe use a stop loss there of 68. Maybe I can give some idea to the viewer, and that is, if you've got the share, and if you've got a long-term view and you like the company and you believe that their portfolio is good and everything is nice and profitable, then what you can do is, when this wedge break to the upside, you can maybe add on your position. But then, and I always say that the moment you add a second lot, then you need to apply a strict stop loss. So if it then goes below your stop loss level, don't be brave enough to say, I'm going to add again, because it's only at that point you can maybe burn your fingers, and that's not what you want to do. But this is a falling wedge. Let's hope it plays out. Let's hope for the viewer that it will eventually get back to 3 rand and 3 rand plus. Well, Capitec is the next one on our list. And remember, this is a star performer. I mean, The company is doing well, they're making good money, their fees are very, very competitive. In actual fact, I think they're one of the banks that's offering the lowest fees. But what worries me is this chart. And that's why I want to show it to the viewer. Somebody asked, Frans, can I buy Capitec now for the long term? And I looked at this chart before and I was nervous about it because I saw this head and shoulder formation starting to develop around here. I was getting nervous there. But there's the clear neckline. The neckline sits at 197,650. All right, there's the neckline. The share is starting to consolidating below this neckline. And I mean, this is a daily chart. This is not even a weekly chart. If it starts to consolidate below it and it cannot get, let's say, above that 1977 level, then where's my target? My first target will be this one. So I want to say to the viewer, in actual fact, I will only look at this share again if it can get above that neckline. Below the neckline, I'll be very, very nervous because it can actually go a little bit lower. And where's the two levels? There you are. It can... stays below this neckline and the head and shoulder starts to reach for its, as you can say, conservative target. That's from the right shoulder stop to the neckline projected downwards. That can take the share down to 1797. That is about another 180 Rand from here. The nasty chart that I don't like is this bigger one. Because if that remains under pressure and this level that I just gave now turns into a resistance, where's the full target? The full target is 1,657. That is not a good chart. So for me, it's quite simple. While it is below the neckline, just leave the share alone. Don't be clever, because you can maybe burn your fingers. But of course, there's always traders watching this show and they're saying, listen, just wait for a good buy. But where is the first sign of strength? If you want to buy 2018, above that, you will probably see your first relief bounce here. And use this neckline as your stop loss. Let's make it 1976. And maybe then we can see some higher lows again and not lower highs as what we're seeing now. So at the moment, I don't like the chart. And for the long term, I'll wait for this probably to play out before I start to buy it for the long term. Let us look at Mr. Price. And someone asked about it, if they can buy the share now. What worries me is, this share kicked off with a double top here in last year, July. And slowly but surely it's working its way to reach for that target. Let's just see. There was the place where the double top came into play. I just want to show you there. There you are. If I do the projection from there, the downside, let's see how far are we from that projection. Still got a little bit of room left, and that can take us down to 166. That's that initial double that I saw last year. What do we see now is we see a high, lower highs all the way, and it just shows you that there's still a lot of negativity around. This made me think about something. As we see now that corruption is coming out all over the show, money has been stolen from big SOE companies. Big things are really starting to show that this corruption problem in South Africa is much, much bigger than any one of us anticipated. And I'm starting to wonder, where did all that money go while it was being stolen? And maybe we're seeing it into your retail stocks, like a Mr. Price or a Woolworths or a Massmart or whatever, where people just went in to spend the money. I hope I'm wrong. But if that's the case, and as this corruption can maybe come to the fore and people get convicted and maybe someone go to jail, maybe we can see that Mr. Price can remain under pressure for quite a longer period of time. But on the other hand, as we say that we know there's a lot of traders around, and guys will say, Frans, don't be so negative. Let's rather look for a place to buy the share. Well, there you are. I'm going to give it to you. That will be my first sign. My first sign of strength will be above 179.70. My stop loss, by the way, will be 172.15. And why do I like that? There is a beautiful, let's just have a look there. There's another, it's a falling wedge. And we know a falling wedge can easily turn around into a positive. there will be my first sign of strength, and this wedge will only break to the top above 184.25. So yes, it is early days, but maybe Mr. Price can come around and just show us to give us a nice boost. The other thing that I think that troubles Mr. Price is that suddenly with the higher interest rates, people spend less, and they thinking twice before they go to the shops to spend. I started off by saying that it looks like the commodities are starting to almost turn around. Now, if I look at Brent crude oil here, same thing here. Let's have a look here. There you can see, I can almost say that that is a nice, strong support line. And that will be exactly, can you believe it, at $100. So for me personally, I think that Brent crude can maybe surprise us all if it breaks below 100. Why do I say that? This spike and that spike to the top, that gives us an irregular double top. Now, a double top is always a warning formation, but let's all hope that Brent oil comes below 100. Then, of course, the rand must strengthen to assist us with the petrol price. Let's look at the target here. There's the projection from the top, that one top. Let's go to that place to the bottom. Let's hope it can break to that side and it takes us all the way back to $77. But on the other hand, first sign of strength will be above 107.40, because I see some analysts say that oil can really go ballistic. They say it can maybe go to 160. So let's hope that it breaks below 100, but let's also hope that the rand can strengthen, because then at least we can fill our tanks again, because at the moment, to fill a tank is nothing else than a dream. So thank you for watching the show. Visit our website, www.fransdeklerk.com, and we will chat again.